What's up, guys? Blink back again, dropping some more knowledge for future 1%ers and those trying to reach financial freedom. Now, you read the title of this video, The Ultimate Facebook Ad Strategy. I'm going to give you the exact targeting strategy that I use to generate 5 figures a month in my own business. This strategy is still working to this day. I'm getting calls constantly about snow removal right now. So this is still working. If you implement this into your process, you will find massive success. Before we hop into the computer and go over the exact strategy, you have to do yourself a favor and subscribe to this channel. Tap into this community and develop yourself, because it's lonely at the top and we need to bring our squad when we get there. You have to treat Facebook ads like a tool. Okay, a tool is only as good as the user. You can give a hammer to someone and they will build a home. You can give a hammer to someone else and they will destroy everything they touch. By the end of this video, you will know how to properly use the tool that is the Facebook Ads Manager. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, let's hop in the Ad Manager. So when you finally make it to the Ad Manager, the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is obviously create your campaign. What's worked best for me on Facebook is definitely the messages objective. Some people have used lead generation and have found success with it, but my personal experience, I'm sticking with messages, and a lot of other marketers have also found massive success using this objective. So once you set your objective, the details of the campaign will pop up. I typically name my campaigns the main objective of whatever I'm doing. So if I'm advertising for, let's say 2021, if I'm going like brick pavers or something like that, it'll be 2020 brick paver, and that'll be, I can't spell, but that'll be everything that I'm going to run brick pavers is going to go in this ad set. And if you have separate services, this is very important because your pixel collects data. If you're selling different services, I always recommend separating those services in your campaigns. This is because you do not want your pixel to collect bad data. If you're selling painting in one campaign, then you want that campaign to be focused on finding just customers that want painting. If you throw in something like landscape or roof cleaning into that same campaign, now that pixel is collecting data from both of those customers. The person that's buying roof cleaning is going to be different than the person that is going to be buying the painting. This is why you want to separate your different services or your different niches with separate campaigns. So the campaign section is easy. All you're doing is dropping in your name, setting the campaign objective. Like I said, mine, I tend to do message. A/B split testing, that's, don't worry about that if you're new. CBO, don't worry about that if you're new. Stick to the basics. The Facebook AI has developed a lot over the years, and in my experience, when you let that thing just work and find its customers, it will find the right customers for you. Most people run into trouble because they do not give the pixel space to operate, and they think that they know, okay, this is exactly who I need to target to buy, and that's not the case, okay? The Facebook AI is way smarter than us because it has all of our information, it has all of our data, and it knows exactly who wants what. All right, so once that's done, go ahead and click out of this. And you want to move to the ad sets. Now this is where I see the most confusion with Facebook ads. And again, I really think that you should stick to keeping things very, very simple. So with this strategy here, our main objective is to keep it very, very simple and very broad. So of course, first thing we do, we're gonna go hop in here and we're gonna name our ad set. Let's say this is for, again, what was it, brick pavers. We'll do brick paver. And this will be the main ad that I'm going to run. What's gonna bring in the most traffic, the attention getter. And we can just leave that name there for now because we're gonna go through and we're gonna set up this ad and we're gonna name it based upon our settings. So first thing first, when I run my ads, my ad type, I always like click to message. Sponsored message is cool too, I guess, but click to message is cool. That's what I run. With messaging apps, I actually turn these off usually. So, if on the main ad, I'll turn all of the messaging apps off, okay? The only thing that I really want to do with the main ad here is to put it out in the market and see which demographic is reacting positively to the content. And when I say positively, I'm not thinking, oh, likes and comments. I'm thinking, hey, come out here and give me a quote. Which demographic takes actionable steps that'll put money in my pocket? The next thing that you want to look at is your budget. Okay, now you have to allow your pixel to collect information. And I think it's very, very hard to determine whether an ad is good or bad if you have not spent at least $100 on this specific ad. If you spend just 20 bucks on it, you don't have enough data to say that this is good or bad. The pixel does not have a big enough sample size to accurately depict how well it will work in the market. So you got to give your ads time to run. And if you have more money than time, you can use this to your advantage. When it comes to daily budget, I don't recommend anything under $10 a day if you're in the service industry. Because if you're spending less than that, it's going to take you way too long to get your data. So you got to give your ads time to run. And if you have more money than time, you can use this to your advantage. I'd always recommend keeping your budget at minimum $10 a day. You got to remember that Facebook is a business. This is a bidding platform, okay? The more money you spend, the higher quality leads that you will get. This is how they operate. That's how they keep their big partners along for longer. And that's why a lot of little guys don't really make it that far. At the end of the day, this is a money game, and Facebook knows that. And you have to know that as well and use that to your advantage. It is the minimum budget. If you could do 20, if you could do 30, all the way up to 50, if you feel confident in your ad creative, then I would go ahead and recommend that. As far as start date, when I'm running a new ad, I like to have it start at 12 on the next day. So whenever you start an ad in the middle of the day, in my experience, you don't fully spend your budget and it doesn't reach whoever it needs to reach. I mean, you can try it, but usually you're just wasting your time. I like to schedule them to set right on the dot at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Midnight pretty much is what I want it at. That way the ad can start, it can be fresh, and it can work how it's supposed to work. And you can get accurate data. I don't set end dates for my ads. I like to keep the Facebook machine guessing. If it knows that you're only going to spend this much, they might just give you these kind of leads. So if you keep a nice cash flow going, then I think that they don't screw you. Then you will always have higher quality leads. And that's also why a lot of people notice their ads run better over time, because the bidding system starts to favor higher spenders and people who have spent more over time. Now here we're in the audience. This here is really the main problem I see people have with Facebook here. Now when you're going to your audience, you got all these different things, custom audiences and save audiences and all this stuff. I mean, until you get enough data, these are not going to be of any use to you, okay? What you need to be thinking about when you're starting Facebook, especially with this strategy, you have to collect data, okay? If you follow a lot of my videos, you'll see that I'm a very analytical guy when it comes to this stuff, because the data does not lie. You can think in your head that this is a good ad and that it's going to sell and all this stuff. You can have all the great feelings that you want, but if the numbers indicate otherwise, 100% of the time, that will be the case. The numbers don't lie. So first thing you want to go through, okay, is your location. People living in location or people recently in this location. That is wrong. Okay, you do not want your ad to target people that are driving through or visiting their aunt. Okay, if they live in Florida and they're just visiting, you do not want to serve them your ad. You are wasting money. Instead, and again, this is why you have to know what you're doing and understand these buttons, because Zuckerberg will burn your money if you allow him to. You have to put this on people living in this location, okay? That way, especially if you're a service business, you're targeting the local people who actually live there, who are there every single day, and not just family members visiting or somebody that happens to be driving through this area. Unless, of course, that works for your specific niche, then by all means do that. But a lot of people watching this channel are in the service industry, and common sense will tell you that that's just stupid. The next thing that you want to do is set your location. Now, I'm in Michigan, so for example, we'll use my neck of the neighborhood here. Okay, when I set my location, I zoom in on Africa. So in my neck of the woods over here, I'm right up in this little spot, Metro Detroit, okay? Everything, I'm pretty much right up in this little circle. Everything is within about 40 minutes from here. And there's good business all around through this area, okay? If I'm gonna drop a pin, for me specifically, I know that this, let's just say that this area over here is the wealthy area, and this is where I wanna work. I can either type in Novi, okay? And it puts me, puts a little bubble over it. You could do that. And you could shrink that bubble all the way up to 10 miles. And you could do that. That's what most people do. But to get even more precise, I figured out that you can drop a pin. Now, when you drop this pin, I believe you can get it as close as, let's say, 1 or 2 miles, guys. I mean, that's incredible. incredible precision. I mean, you can target a whole neighborhood. So use this to your advantage. If there are small pockets of homes, that those high ticket homes that you really want to work in your area, okay, drop that pin right on that area, okay? Or just Google that address and literally just put that address right in here, all right? And that pin will pop up around that whole little area. And this is how you get accurate with your targeting. Now, this method, we're not targeting specific niches or details or anything like that. We're targeting the wealthier people in the area, okay? The people who are buying these kinds of services. If you're in the service industry, you're likely selling a luxury service, all right? Nobody is going to buy a luxury service if they do not have the means, or if it is not, you know, within their world, okay? Let's be honest, when you go through the hood, okay, you see all the sidewalks, you got grass growing out throughout the sidewalks, and it looks bad out there. No one is buying luxury services out there, all right? You need to go to an area where everything is well kept. The key is just to be smart with your targeting. Why would you waste time going for the low ticket customer, somebody who doesn't want or appreciate your service, when you can go find somebody who is a high ticket customer, respects you as a service provider, and is willing to pay to get it done properly? When you start looking for those customers on Facebook, that's when you'll start to have success with your Facebook ads. And another thing about your audience, guys, is check this out. Potential reach, 3,400 people. This is absolutely absurd. You cannot market to only 3,400 people. You can, but your price will be skyrocket. So if you're gonna use the little bubble, target small pockets of communities method, I would always recommend dropping a few more pins in highly prosperous areas, or extending your radius by a couple of miles so that you can increase your reach. Now, I recommend that you run your ad to at least potential reach of about 100,000 people. 150 is really the sweet spot for me, but you can run it to fewer people. It'll just cost you a lot more to reach them. But if they're a high ticket customer, it may be worth it in the end. I mean, if you got to spend $100 to get one lead that makes you $3,000, I think it's worth it. So again, you see how we dropped this pin right here. The audience expands over to 120,000. That's all fine and dandy. We're good to go. We'll go ahead and click these out because they're in that bubble as well. And we let the pixel work. All right, now the pixel is going to search these potentially 120,000 people. They'll see who's been Googling whatever service that we're selling, and they'll find who are the ones that want to buy this particular service. Now we can actually go back and name our ad set so we know what we're looking at, okay? So again, when we come here, let's say this pin is right near Pontiac. It's 10 miles, and we're targeting 35 married. Okay, so here we go. We're in Pontiac, 10-mile radius, 35 plus married. Okay, that way when you duplicate this ad set, or you make another ad set to do other testing, you know exactly what you're looking at, and you can see which variables may have made the ad better or worse. Which brings me over to the age. Okay, and this is again common sense, guys. At what age do people have money? At what age are people going to buy your particular service? All right, I'm in the landscaping industry. All the people in my niche, and this is not me guessing, this is based on the data that I've collected over the years, they're usually 35 and up, and they're usually married. Okay, drop a comment, let me know what you guys are dealing with. But it's usually the women that are out there and they're saying, hey, I want this done, and they're just handing you over the money. So take that in consideration when you're doing your targeting as well. When I get really locked in with my ads and they're performing really well, and the data supports that women are the ones who are buying this service, guess what I do? I'll go ahead and change my gender. Okay, the gender will go ahead and switch over to women. That's when you really start to lock in and your leads are becoming really, really cheap and you got the ball rolling. But you do not know this until you do this testing phase right here, which is super important. A lot of people, they don't do this. They just go right into it. They don't get the results and they quit right away. What you guys gotta understand is the lifetime value of your customer, okay? You may not get them on the front end with that $40 or $50 ad spend, but if you keep pumping ads at them over time, they will see your brand enough, they will get comfortable with your brand, and they will eventually make that decision when they're ready. So all we have to do is just expose ourselves and get their attention. That is the purpose of this ad strategy. Detailed targeting, if you're a beginner, I just recommend keeping this off, or don't even messing with it. I don't do any detailed targeting these days. Whenever I do, my cost goes way up and my leads go way down. If I do any detailed targeting, like I said, I might target people who are married, because married people have more money than people who aren't married. That's just a fact. Detailed targeting expansion. I'm gonna try this year, but I haven't tested this out yet. If you're comfortable with testing stuff, I would give this a try. But over the last 4 or 5 years, this was another way that Facebook would just light your money on fire. We'll go down here to placements, automatic placements, of course. Facebook recommends it because they want your money. I recommend that you don't. I'm not taking your money. Okay, I recommend you go to manual placements. And again, this is a lot of common sense here, guys. I tend to stay off of Instagram and Messenger until I know the ad is a high performing ad. Okay, I like to run my main ads on the Facebook news feed. Okay, I'll take it off of everything else except the Facebook news feed. Almost every single one of us are on Facebook. We're scrolling down that news feed pretty much every single day. So it only makes sense that we place our ads right there. That's where we're spending about 90 to 95% of our time on Facebook, at least the majority of people scrolling down that news feed. Okay, right here with devices, again, once you get really detailed with your targeting, you can see whether iOS or Android does better. For me, iOS has done better, but there have been some changes in Facebook's system, so we'll see how that goes this year. And of course, this little button here, remember guys, this is under show more options, okay? This is another way Facebook, they're trying to take your money, so pay attention to this stuff. All right, show more options. Look at here, only when connected to Wi-Fi. If your business has a lead form, something that somebody has to take a moment to sit down and fill out, you do not want your ad to be served while they're driving through the car, or while they're walking by somebody and they're feeling awkward just pulling up their phone, or if they're at the grocery store waiting in line, whatever the case may be. You do not want your ad to hit them when you do not have their full attention, or as close as possible to that. And you can ensure that this is more than likely the case when you target people who are only connected to Wi-Fi. That way you know that they're in their home, or at least somewhere where they're sitting down, they're comfortable, and that they have time to actually take a look at your brand, to fill out your lead form and check out your product. Brand safety, all this stuff right here, I don't pay too much attention to that because I'm not too worried about that at this point. Optimization and delivery, again, this is advanced stuff. If you're not familiar with this, as in if you haven't spent tens of thousands of dollars on this platform and are familiar with the actual bidding system, then just leave this stuff alone. And that's about all you got to know to set up your first ad. Now again, this is like step 1 of 10. You have to be able to set this ad up, set up the ad creative, which I'll go over in another video. You have to be able to read your data accurately so you know what you're actually dealing with when it comes to your ad. We'll go over that in another video. But this is good enough to get you started, okay? If you set up your ad just like this and you have a good ad creative, then you will definitely get some leads. The real magic with Facebook starts to happen when you begin retargeting customers. And again, we'll go over that in a whole nother video because that's a whole nother monster on its own. So there you have it. Appreciate you guys watching. Take this, apply this to your system. Go learn from other people who are running Facebook ads and become a sponge, okay? If you figure something out, tell me. I want to continue to learn and master this as well. Like the video, subscribe, join the community. You already know we're here helping future 1%ers and other people that are trying to reach financial freedom. And we're doing it by giving actionable steps and building a community of solid minds that are helping each other out. Because it's lonely at the top and we need our squad up there when we get there. Appreciate y'all watching. God bless.